It was a pleasure working together with Rob van Hoesel. I had several books that were designed by him already on my bookshelf. And when I approached him with this project, I was very happy and honored that he wanted to make time and collaborate for this book. We had a lot of talks on the best way to share this story. I had been to 10 countries and I had a lot of material. Not only photographs I made myself, but also archival images from visiting factories, browsing art collections with historical paintings and stills from popular horse movies. And the selection of these images was really a collaboration with Rob. Of course, we all had our favorites, but it was really an open discussion and just trying and seeing which images work best and also communicate the narrative. The story itself is quite layered, and Rob was very good in thinking of ways how we could structure the book so that all the details would come across to the viewer. And it was really great to witness the design ideas that Rob came up with. For example, the cover of the book, which wraps around and is like a subtle link to horse skin, or depending the perspective that you look at it, a saddle for horse riding. These are all things that as a photographer I would never have come up with, but by working together, the book becomes its best. Horse is a book exploring horse culture on one hand and horse meat on the other hand, in different places around the world. In 1948, my grandfather founded a horse meat company in Belgium, and now, almost 75 years later, that industry has become more controversial. I wondered if this is something that is the same in different cultures around the world. And the book is divided into different chapters, with each chapter focusing on a specific region and culture. We always start with a text, and afterwards we have the photographs, usually beginning with the more cultural and historical perspective, going into their relationship towards consumption of horse meat. Rob came up with the suggestion to place the images in a loose grid, and every once in a while you see a photograph full spread. It was really important to do this, to also give the viewer some space to breathe and not become too overwhelmed with too many images, as some of them can be hard to look at, especially the ones in the slaughterhouse. So it was really important that we watched out in finding the right balance. For example, we have here this chapter on Argentina and Uruguay, and you see the text, and you, for example, also have these open landscapes, which are very typical for the Pampa region where the horses are living. And then you have the gauchos, which is an important cultural phenomenon and related to the horse. And further into the chapter, we delve into the slaughterhouse, as Argentina and Uruguay are the biggest exporter of horse meat worldwide. In addition to these chapters, there were some smaller inserts. For example, a section where I interviewed my father about all the changes he witnessed throughout the years. And even a small section on horse cuisine with some recipes in case you feel inspired.
Working with Heleen Peeters was very nice. Working with photographers in general is very nice. They are very determined, passionate people in general, and if they come to me with a story they've been working on for years, it's always a great pleasure to enter their story and to discuss the things they think of and want to express in their work. Working with Heleen was specifically nice because her story is quite unique. She's a daughter of a butcher family, and this book is about the horse and the horse meat. This is a very unique project to work on. She is involved historically from her family, but also as a documentary photographer, very keen to explore this horse meat culture in the broadest sense. She's been working here on this project for years. And what I remember from working with her is that she was very open to discussion about images. So sometimes photographers can be very strict about what type of images they want to use, but Heleen was quite open. She really had the ability to have a distance to her own work and to critically reflect on it, to think of, which images belong in the book and which are not. Sometimes photography lose a bit that critical reflection since they are so much involved in their work. To me, that's a nice thing of being a designer, to kind of be this critical eye for the photographer. But Heleen was very capable of keeping this openness and critical thinking towards her own work up till the end. And she was really determined which things belong in the book in the end or not finally. So we could really work on a very strong edit, I think. Also towards me as a designer, I think she was very open to let me, present her the ideas I had for the design and all the aspects that come with that. So yeah, it was a great collaboration, and I think you in the end feel that in a book when a collaboration worked, and in this case I think it did. Yeah. The main subject of the book is, of course, the horse, and the horse in two aspects. So on one hand, you have the horse as this noble creature, as the beautiful animal it is, having worked with the human beings for a long time already, used for recreation, as a pet animal, and really focusing actually on the outside of the animal as we see it. The other aspect of the book is about the meat, which is, you could say, inside the animal. So the meat for consumption by humans, as it was a tradition in Western Europe for a long time, specifically after the war. That tradition is dying, and Heleen now wants to focus on this dying tradition of eating horse meat. So you could say it's about the outside of the animal as we see it, as well as the inside of the animal. And this idea I reflected in the design of the book, and specifically the design of the cover. You could say that this wrapped around cover was, you could say that's the skin of the book, and it was also designed as the skin of the horse. So when you unfold it, you have like an abstracted version of the skin of the animal, and then the blank book you left with, this resembles the meat of the animal. So it's the meat of the book and the skin of the book resembling the meat and skin of the horse. A choice for using a red thread like this, of course, comes from the reflection of veins of the animal, maybe a hint to the bloody images that are also in the book. And for the rest, this is very straightforward, actually. Also, the cover, when folded around the book, it resembles a bit of a saddle of the horse as well. So this was a kind of a key element. This gaps here was actually coming from a more technical issue that we had when we first folded around the book, because it teared apart a little bit on the foldings, and with this cutout you don't have that problem anymore. And then you feel that the book benefits also in design from this idea, because it all the more felt like a saddle horse riding, of course. For the inside of the book, we spend a lot of time on the structure and editing of the stories to have the different chapters in the right sequence, that you kind of follow the horse first as a pet animal, and then towards the habit of eating and butchering the animal, and also the difficulties that come with that. For instance, in the United States and Canada, in terms of regulations and things like that. We spent a lot of time sequencing the images, also, with the historical images combined with the new work by Heleen, and also the smaller captions that were important to us to have throughout the book, to give a bit of extra information about what you're actually looking at. So this whole process of editing was quite took quite some time, but it was, to us, it was very important to actually tell the right things and in the right time in the book. So okay.